Hi, David Odell here with Odell Complete Concrete. This is the fiber mesh that I have quite a bit in stock, and I usually add about a half a pound to a pound per yard of concrete. It's not really meant for structural, not this type of fiber, although there is types of fibers that can completely replace all your steel reinforcement. You just have to have it engineered to do that, but and that requires different fibers. This particular fiber, it just does for shrinkage cracks. Basically, it just buys you some time to get there the next day to do some saw cutting. It also gets you in there earlier to saw cut without all the chipping and spalling from the diamond blade cuts, things of that nature. But here we are pouring. This is actually part 3 of a 4-part series. On part 1 we showed the demo and setup. Part 2 we showed the upper pour and the steps that you see there. And now this is part 3. We're pouring the lower section, which is the largest portion of this job square footage wise. And this particular mix here is a 3,250 psi and straight cement. It has no additives whatsoever in it. What makes concrete is there's 4 ingredients to making concrete, and that's sand, cement, rock, and water. Anything else other than that would be an additive. Now in this lower section we're running a 4-foot wood bowl float. On the way out we have some screed pins set in the middle, and this is a pretty tricky pour here because we got to run about 85 feet and we only have 5 inches of slope. And it's got to make a turn around the back of the house and then go down the side yard, and there's no place for it to run. We have a wall and a house enclosing this whole thing, so rodding this and setting your screed pins, grading, everything's really crucial to make this all happen. And as you can see, that expansion foam on the sidewall there, that does a couple things. It gives it some space for the slab to move independently from all these fixed objects, and then another thing it does is it establishes my grade that it's hard to lose. I mean, if you run on a chalk line, you can get buried, you can lose your line here and there. But when you have a fixed object like foam or felt, you always can see that, and you can always work to it. Even off of your knee board, you can see where you're at. So that was our first load right there. That's where we ended on the first load, as you can see there. That was a 10-yard load. And now we're going to go with about a 3.5-yard cleanup. And there's your second pass of the wood bowl float here. Now if a block wall is level and the house is level, the things surrounding the pour, you can look at the grout line of the block to see how much slope you have. You can also look at the weep screed of the house to see, kind of give you an idea of where it's going. That's a 5-foot Fresno with a rocker arm on it. Now we're just walking the block wall, running a walk-in edger. Basically 3 things you're carrying at this point with you. And if you're doing joints, then you're going to have 4 things you're carrying with you on your sliders. You got your hand float, a trowel, and your joiner. The reason that we know that this line is straight with the house is because before we poured it, we pulled the string line down the side of the house and we marked the block wall. So now all we had to do is snap the line while the concrete was wet with the dry line, and then follow that with a straight edge and join it out. This entirety is going to be saw cut actually, but we had to get a joint off of that crucial break point because there's a potential of it cracking overnight before you can get back to saw cut it. So you hit a couple key points, get them in there the day of, and then you can get back and feel pretty comfortable that you'll make it before you get cracking. Uncontrolled crack. All concrete's going to crack. It's just a matter of can you control where it cracks or not. Here's our second pass on this. We went early to get the joints in. Now the second pass is always a little easier than the first time because your joints are in and you've already hit it once, so it's relatively flat right now. Minimize the use of the hand float at this point. Now brooming this one's going to be kind of tricky because we can't stand on the outside of concrete to broom it. So we're going to be standing on the sliders, working our way out, troweling it, and then brooming it as we work our way to the front of the house. Here we have the 50% horsehair, 50% nylon broom. And as long as you stay right behind the guys troweling, the concrete's wet enough so you really don't have to wet your broom. Because as they trowel it, they're bringing up a little moisture. And if you broom right behind them, it's just enough to get a good dry broom on it. If you were to wait about 20 minutes, you'd probably need water on your broom. There's that stucco finish I put on there. You can see how well it matches the house. You can see me stuccoing it a little bit in part one, but we lost a lot of footage, so we didn't get all the good detail. If you'll notice the way I'm brooming this, I'm just reaching out and pulling it one way backwards. If I were to push it forward, try to pull it back, you'd see a seam where the broom starts and stops. You notice that little planter bed to the left, that's where all the water ends up in there, and then that planter is channeled towards the street all the way out. Okay, this is the next day. We're just snapping some lines out, starting the cutting procedure. I have the DeWalt cordless vacuum. I put it on some wheels, found a little like a moving dolly or hand cart, so then for moving furniture and stuff like that. I set it on top of that, swivel wheels. It just wherever I go, it follows me. Made it real easy. you take a close look at that diamond blade, there's not much diamond left on it. There's usually, it starts out with about a ½ inch, 3/4 inch diamond end on around the blade, and that looks like it's down to about 1/4 there. Up in the top landing, we're simultaneously doing the artificial turf, and that entire install is going to show in part 4. And you can see with that vacuum setup, there's very little dust left. I didn't have to wear a dust mask. It was really clean process. See, there's the water coming off of there. I've pressure washed the whole package, the walls, the house. You can see that this needs a little work on channeling out that planter area to make that drain a little bit better through there. But you know, in 85 feet with 5 inches of soap, we did really well here. There's really no standing water. I've seen one puddle in this, but very minimal, and it's just right around this corner to the right there. You see that right there? It's about a, I don't know, 1 foot square area. Very minimal. You couldn't really even lose a dime in there. There's the whole package. She turned out beautiful. Anyway, thank you for watching, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Stay tuned for part 4, the artificial turf install.